Greetings, students. Thank you very much for attending the second online class for this March 20th. Let's go ahead and get started. This presentation will be much shorter than the last presentation. So let's go ahead and start. Unit 1, Careers. We'll be going over the case study, which is titled UJuice. If you see on the right here, this is the same homework assignment, but I just added a little bit more for some tasks that have to be completed. Let's go ahead and look at the case study. So UJuice, it's an international drinks company that needs a dynamic new director to build its Latin American sales. Background. UJuice Incorporated is based in Monterrey, Mexico, and they sell ready-to-drink juices from all over the world. It was originally a Mexican company, but it is now owned by a large U.S. corporation. UJuice is currently looking for a sales and marketing director for its sales facilities in Brazil, Argentina, and Colombia. Recently, sales results have been poor. Overall sales revenue was 35% below target. The reasons are sales staff are not highly motivated and staff turnover is high. The sales managers say that low sales are due to strong competition in the segment of the market. The previous director had no clear strategy for developing sales, and not enough market research has been done, and the customer database does not produce reliable results. A new appointment. There are three candidates for the position of sales and marketing director. They all worked for UJuice in either Mexico or one of the foreign subsidiaries. The new director will be based in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Here is an extract from the job description for the position. The successful candidate will be responsible for increasing sales and developing marketing strategies, coordinating the work of sales teams so that they are more motivated and effective, carrying out market research to improve customer numbers. The successful candidate will be a strong personality with leadership qualities, energetic, dynamic, and enthusiastic. He or she will have a good academic background and relevant work experience, organizational and interpersonal skills, numeracy skills and analytical ability, good linguistic ability. The position will involve frequent travel in 3 countries. So let's break down a little bit about what this case study is about. So if you think about it, what type of person do they need if they're going to be directing 3 different countries? Brazil, Argentina, and Colombia. So I'm sorry, yeah, Brazil, Argentina, and Colombia. As you know, Brazilians, they speak a different language. They speak Portuguese. So language skills are going to be very important. And also the head office is America. So English will also be used. So English, Spanish, and Brazilian or Portuguese, excuse me. Now, when you look at the job description, there's certain things that you may not understand or maybe need a little bit of help with here. Most of it's straightforward, but when you look at energetic, dynamic, and enthusiastic, maybe energetic's easy, lots of energy. Enthusiastic has very strong push to get things done, but dynamic. How is a sales manager or marketing manager dynamic? Maybe you might ask yourself, what does dynamic Korea mean? Most people that work for the Hanguk don't understand what dynamic Korea meant. When I worked there, I thought it meant 5,000 years of history rolled up with ultra modern technology. So you have from very different things that come together. For example, I might say Professor Brennan's a very dynamic teacher. Why? I can teach 5-year-olds. Okay, everybody stand up. Walking, 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 jump, 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 walking, 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 jump, 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 jump. Okay, everybody, let's do now punching, punching, kicking. Okay, and I can teach 25-year-olds. Now, when you look at the difference of skills between 5-year-olds and 25-year-olds, it's very different. So the teacher must be very dynamic to be able to teach to both very different types of students. So again, here, when it comes to marketing and sales, they'll have to deal with many different cultures, languages, styles, working styles, and understanding those different cultures. So they must have the ability to do other, sorry, my cacao is making noise. Um, And also, here's another one that's maybe a little bit difficult. The it said that they must have good interpersonal skills, or yeah, so organizational interpersonal skills, and also good linguistic ability. What is the difference between interpersonal skills and communication skills? They sound very similar, but they're different. So if I said to you, "You're fired," I clearly communicated to you that you are fired. You may cry and you may go home and be very upset, but I clearly communicated to you. But if I said, "I'm really sorry, we're going through a very tough time right now. You were the last person to be hired, so based on seniority, we're going to have to let you go. But, it's nothing to do with your working style, and we thought you were a very nice person. I'd be happy to write you a letter of recommendation." The second one that I did, I clearly let somebody know that they had been let go, but the person doesn't feel bad. They completely understand why. So that's interpersonal skills, is being able to talk to somebody without upsetting them or making them feel bad. So let's move on to the next page here. Now, there's three different candidates that we're considering for this marketing sales director. There's Joanna Ramos, Chantel Lervet, and Jeff Sanderson. The three of them all are very good candidates, but some are better than others, and some have some strengths and weaknesses that are different than others. But let me go over. So what you're gonna do? You're gonna read the essential information about each candidate, then listen to the interview extracts. So, for just one moment. Okay, so as I was saying, there's Joanna, Chantel, and Jeff. Now you can look, all of them. They all have a thing about their age, their marital status, their education, experience, achievements, languages, and interviewers' comments. So you're going to, if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see that there's different tasks. I've modified them just a little bit because you're doing this by yourself. So let's look over here. You are a member of the interviewing team. Write down about the strengths and weaknesses of each candidate. So you can do it either way you want. So underneath here, you can put in your answers. So you can say like number one, Juana Ramos. So let's do this. And then the second one is Chantel. Chantal. And the third one is Jeff. So here you're going to write the strengths and weaknesses about each one of them. And if I was you, you can start off any way you want to do it. You can either do like going for the about their age and marital status first, and then you could do about their education, or you can just start off and go, okay, let's talk about Joanna, and then talk about, okay, she's 30 years old, she's married with two children. You could say, something like, if you were typing an answer here about that, you could say, "Oh, Joanna, she seems a bit young. Also, she's married with two children. Maybe she's too busy with having such a young family. Maybe that's a negative." Or you could say something positive and say, "Oh, she's very young, but she's very ambitious and she's really trying to move up." So, someone like that is very driven because they have a lot of energy. There's no right or wrong answer. This is just based upon your opinion. And again, education. Oh, she has a degree in economics, and she's studying for her master's degree in marketing through distance learning. Again, you could say for education, oh, I think that's a positive because she's going to be more well educated, and that she's going to have more tools at her disposal to help her be a better marketing manager. Or you could say negatively and say, oh, she still hasn't completed it yet. That means she's going to be even busier with a full family and having to complete her master's degree online. When is she going to have time to work? So go through Joanna, Chantel, and Jeff, going through each section, talking about the different information. Is it a positive? If it's positive, why is it positive? If it's a negative, why is it negative? Then the next task is to decide who to select for the vacant position. Now, you're supposed to note down the reasons for your choice. So if you choose Joanna, then you need to say why. I thought because of this, that, and the other, that's the reason why she should be hired. Or if you chose Chantel, same thing. You would say, I think she should be hired because of A, B, and C. And now the third task is you're going to make a list or a ranking. So I think this first person is the best candidate. This is the second best, third best. Why do you do that? Well, it's important in an HR setting that if you make an offer to somebody, a lot of times they may turn it down. They may ask too much money. They may say, sorry, I've already accepted another position. This process usually takes some time. So by making a list or a ranking with your first choice, second choice, third choice, gives the management the opportunity to be able to quickly offer the job to a second person alternative candidate. Um, and the last part here, we'll go over the writing assignment in a minute. But after you do that, I also want to play a few audio tapes for you. So these candidates, they've already been shortlisted, right? So from all these hundreds of people who applied, this long list, they already had interviews before, and three of them were selected, which they made it to the short list. Now, during their pre-interviews, they also answered questions. Well, we have those interview questions and their answers, so maybe that might change your mind about them. So, what I want you to do first is I want you to pause the video if you can, or uh, make your positive and negative assessment based on the three of them, and then listen to the audio tapes. So, I'll play the first audio tape now. And this is track 11, 1.11 for Joanna.
Unit 1, Careers, Track 11. Extract 1.
The children will be no problem. I'll probably send them to an international school in Sao Paulo. My husband's a writer, so he can work anywhere. I've got a career plan. I want to get to the top. I think I can do that and be a good mother as well. You have to be well organized, of course, and be a bit selfish at times.
Unit 1, Careers, Track 12. Extract 2.
How can we increase sales in the 3 markets? Well, I'll be checking the performance of the managers and sales reps carefully. I'll set the reps' targets, and if they meet them, they'll get good bonuses. The managers will also have to meet their targets. If they don't, they should start looking for a new job. The main aim of a sales manager is to make money for the company, isn't it?
Okay, next is Chantel.
Unit 1, Careers, Track 13. Extract 1.
My son is only 5, but he'll come with me if I get the job. His father won't be at all pleased, but he can't do anything about it. I could leave my son with his grandparents, but I don't want to do that. I'm sure he'll be all right in a Brazilian school. Children adapt very quickly to new places. It won't be a problem for me or him.
Unit 1, Careers, Track 14. Extract 2.
What's the best way to improve the performance of the sales teams? Well, I'll work closely with the sales managers, try to get a good relationship with them, and I'll look at the commissions we give the sales reps. Are they high enough to motivate them? I'll check the reps' progress regularly. Also, I'll make suggestions about improving the customer database. That's very important.
Now, Jeff
Unit
Sanderson.
1, Careers, Track 15. Extract 1.
What kind of person am I? Well, people often say I'm a loner because I've never married, but I think I'm fairly sociable. I'm definitely a bit of an intellectual. I have many interests: literature, music, world cinema, traveling abroad, and getting to know other cultures. Perhaps that's why I've never married or had children.
Unit 1. Careers. Track 16. Extract 2.
I have the experience and skills to improve our performance in these markets. I'd send the sales teams on team-building courses and have regular meetings with the 3 sales managers. The job would be a big challenge for me at the end of my career with our company. Of course, I've studied the cultures of the 3 countries, so I should have no problems working with the sales teams.
Unit 2. Companies. Track 17.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to the PowerPoint. So yes, so here you're, like I said, you're going to insert your answers based on what you've read and also what you've heard. Now, there's going to be a writing assignment also at the end. And this case study we're going to discuss during the makeup class. As I mentioned last presentation, case study 1 will be the first makeup class on a Saturday. And then unit 2 will be the second makeup class. Maybe we can talk about it in class. Maybe we can try to meet longer than the one class if we can, to do 2 case studies on one day instead of meeting 2 Saturdays. I don't know. Let's discuss it in class. Now, here at the end, you're going to do a writing assignment. Now, you're going to complete this email from the head of interviewing team to Claudia Lopez, who's the regional director for UJUICE. You're going to write about the last 3, or at least 3 strengths of the candidate you have chosen. Explain how these strengths relate to the job description. Remember, we went over the job description at the beginning of the case study. So here, I wrote what you see in your book. It says to the regional director, from the head of interviewing team, subject appointment of sales and marketing director for Brazil, Argentina, and Colombia. And this email has already been started for you. So you should do the same format. It must be an email format. You're going to say, Dear Claudia, that's who you're sending the email to. For it starts off, we recently interviewed 3 candidates for this position. We have decided to appoint, and then whoever you decided, and I will briefly describe the candidate's strengths and explain these reasons for our decision. Then you're going to make some new paragraphs and you're going to do a closing. So let's go ahead and look at the page 126. And here, this is about doing an email. Now, business emails are different than sending an email to your friend. Here, business people, they don't like long emails. They want to the point and they want to be very succinct. So make sure that you get all of the information, but try to do it in a not too wordy way, which is quite good. So emails can have format business style or informal style depending on your relationship with that person. If it's an internal memo or an internal email, it's going to be very different than the formal email. Here, this is kind of like a working email, whereas it's not from a high level or something that's very formal, but you definitely have to have an introduction. Dear Tony, you're going to have your main points of what you're trying to convey, and then you're going to have some sort of salutation or an ending. I'm sorry, like best wishes, best regards, etc., and then your name, and then below you're going to have your full name, your title, your address, and then you should have your phone number and email address. Now, that's the most common way you're going to see. If it comes to our midterm exam, which I'll explain later, you're going to want to write a much longer email because it's for a midterm exam, but this is just a basic one for the homework. Now, if you look here, this email below, this is more of an informal style that you would send to maybe your coworker, and you're just trying to give information. And most of the time, it's just very simple, like, hey, hi, howdy, how's it going? And then you just say, even here, so they put CU instead of SEEYOU. They just put capital C, capital U. That's fine when it's an internal memo, but you do not want to abbreviate or use slang when it comes to a professional business letter. So that's it for now. I'm going to upload this PowerPoint. This PowerPoint has already been uploaded, and I'm going to modify the homework assignment and upload that so you have the entire thing. I will talk to you soon, and I'll see you next week for the next online installment. Thank you very much.